Ladies and gentlemen, if you're expecting this PlayStation State of Play to be a full-blown showcase, you might be setting yourself up for some disappointment. Because yes, this is shaping up to be one of the longest State of Plays that we have ever had. And historically, when Sony goes this long, they have called it a showcase, but they didn't this time. So let's talk about what I think is actually going to happen here and why you might want to pump the brakes on those expectations. Okay, so here's where we're going to start. I think Marathon opens the show. Big flashy gameplay sequence, fast cuts, high energy. Sony wants to reestablish confidence and remind people that this game is cool. And the release window is getting closer now, so it's time to push it. And speaking of big pushes, I'm calling it right now. I think we hear something about Final Fantasy Remake, Rebirth, whatever Part 3 at the show. Whatever they end up calling it, Final Fantasy is everywhere right now. Remake just hit the Switch 2. Rebirth just got its Switch 2 release date at the Nintendo Direct last week. So Square would be crazy not to try to capitalize on that momentum right now. Even if it's just a logo, even if it's just a tease. Wish lists are powerful, and now is the time to get that bad boy up on the PlayStation Store, let me tell you. Okay, let's take a quick pause here because I'm really interested in hearing your predictions for the show. So drop those in the comments down below and we will compare after the show tomorrow. And if you're into PlayStation breakdowns like this one, be sure to hit subscribe so that way you'll be notified the next time we do one. And be sure to hit that like as well. Okay, so let's talk about what I don't think we're seeing in tomorrow's State of Play. I don't think that we're going to see Wolverine, even though we haven't seen a lot of it. It seems like that game is targeting a holiday window, and Sony is not going to waste time on that for this show. They're going to hold it for a summer showcase, or maybe even give it its own State of Play later on in the year. If that game is targeting a holiday window, Sony is not wasting it on an early year State of Play. I think it either shows up in a bigger summer showcase, or maybe it even gets its own dedicated Wolverine State of Play later on in the year. I also don't think that we're going to see anything Hunter's Gathering related either. They just dropped a full 10-minute deep dive. They've already announced the beta, which is happening at the end of the month. And the response has been not good. So I think they could probably just leave it out of the show and maybe kind of sort of relaunch that at a later date when people have kind of calmed down after the initial reaction here recently. The game just doesn't need another slot in the State of Play right now. So if we're not getting any huge first-party surprises, why is the show so long? Here's the real reason. PSSR 2.0. I would bet actual money that we're getting a full, extended, borderline lecture-level breakdown from Mark Cerny. We all know he loves getting in the technical weeds and mumbo-jumbo. And with Xbox sort of floundering here, we all know Sony wants to reposition the PlayStation brand as the dominant home gaming console. So here's what I'm expecting. A detailed explanation, side-by-side demos, performance graphs and charts, maybe even developer testimonials. 10 minutes minimum, possibly more. And that's your extended runtime right there. Anytime you get Mark Cerny on a State of Play or a showcase or whatever, tends to be a little bit of a longer presentation, which I personally love. I could listen to that guy talk all day long. Okay, now let's shift back to third party here for just a minute. I think Resident Evil Requiem absolutely shows up here again. It's getting really close to release now. We all know PlayStation and Capcom have a really good marketing partnership. So I think we see one more nice, really polished gameplay sequence from a Capcom to show off Resident Evil one more time. And then there's Crimson Desert, and this game looks incredible. I mean, Pearl Abyss is just going above and beyond in this one. But the game does have a lot of skeptics, and people are asking, can an MMO studio really deliver this huge open world, single player, story-driven game? Well, what better time to drop a narrative, story-driven gameplay sequence to kind of quiet down that conversation? I think it gets a real spotlight moment in the State of Play. Before we get to the end of the show, I do think we get a small hardware segment. I think we're going to get a release date for the previously announced Sony Fight Stick. I think we're also going to get some release timing and pricing for Sony's new Pulse Elevate wireless speakers for PlayStation, or they showed it off before with the PlayStation Portal, which seemed a little bit wild to me, but I think we're going to get those as well. Just a nice, clean, efficient, corporate, nice advertisement for those with a date and a price. And then the show closes out with Mark Cerny and his PSSR 2.0 presentation. Now, let's talk about one more thing. Let's talk about Hopium, mine, the OLED Portal. Do I think it's likely? No. Do I want it? Absolutely. I think the only way that this actually happens at this show is if there is some direct tie-in to PSSR 2.0. Maybe they give Portal a higher resolution panel, and so they could take that 1080p remote play image and upscale it with PSSR. Maybe PSSR allows for some sort of improved streaming integration. It would need a real reason to exist beyond it just looks nicer. It just looks better. It just looks more premium. But if they somehow are tying this OLED Portal Pro in with PSSR 2.0, if they position it as the definitive remote play experience, I will absolutely lose my mind. So here's where I land. This will be a long state of play, not a showcase. Manage your expectations. Expect tech, expect third-party support, expect Marathon to come out swinging. And if we get an OLED Portal on top of all of that, I can't be held responsible for my own reaction. So once again, let me know what you guys are thinking about the show. Put your comments down below. And after the show, we will compare notes and see who was more correct, you or me. Hey, thank you guys so much, as always, for watching. I'm Blame It On Ryan, and we'll see you in the next one.